The Dallas Cowboys are once again making headlines, and this time, it's a mix of good and bad news. There's positive progress on DeMarvion Overshown and a few other key players recovering well from injuries, but the same can't be said for Jerry Jones' latest comments that have left fans scratching their heads. Before we get deeper into this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, let's talk about Jerry Jones. Once again, the Cowboys owner is stirring things up with his words. This time, he claimed that the pass rush is one of the strongest parts of the Cowboys' defense. Really, Jerry? Let's be honest, that statement doesn't quite hold up. Sure, Dallas has some depth at the position, but calling it elite? That's a stretch. Players like Dante Fowler Jr., Sam Williams, James Houston, and Jadeveon Clowney bring energy and potential, but consistency just isn't there yet. Fowler and Williams lead the group with 15 pressures each, posting pressure rates of 11.5% and 12.8%. Houston has managed 8 pressures and done a solid job converting them when he gets home. But to say this is the strongest part of the defense? That's not reality, not when the secondary and linebacker play have been far more dependable. Jerry might be trying to keep spirits high, but fans can see through the optimism. The Cowboys' pass rush has pieces, it just hasn't proven to be the powerhouse he's describing. Let's be real, Marshawn Kneeland hasn't made much of an impact as a pass rusher so far. In college at Western Michigan, he only showed flashes of that ability a couple of times, and those concerns have followed him into the NFL. To put things in perspective, the Cowboys don't have a single edge rusher ranked inside the top 40 in total pressures this season. That says it all. The pass rush just isn't getting home. Surprisingly, the team's most productive pressure creators haven't been the edge rushers, they've been the defensive tackles. Osa Odigizua and Kenny Clark have led the way for Dallas, generating steady pressure from the interior. Sure, they get more snaps, but even their pressure rates tell a similar story, they're outperforming the edges by a good margin. James Houston currently leads the team with 3.5 sacks, followed by Kenny Clark and Dante Fowler Jr. with 1.5 each, while Odigizua, Sam Williams, Motzie Smith, and Kneeland round things out. That's it, and that's not the kind of production you want to see from a defense that's supposed to be built on disruption. Jerry Jones can say whatever he wants about the strength of this pass rush, but the truth is obvious, this group lacks a true number one threat. They've got role players, not game changers, and that shows up every single week. Now, despite the defensive struggles, the Jones family and offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer continue to publicly back defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. Schottenheimer spoke about it earlier this week, saying, "Matt's a damn good football coach. We all have to perform better, but I believe in him. I understand what he's going through, it's tough, it's frustrating, but we'll ride this out together. We'll get better. We really will." The Cowboys, as an organization, rarely make in-season coaching changes, and it sounds like they're sticking to that philosophy again. Still, it's notable that Schottenheimer has been spending extra time with the defensive unit lately, a quiet sign that everyone knows things need to change, fast. The Cowboys' defensive issues have started to ripple through the rest of the team. When one side of the ball struggles this badly, it can drag everything else down, and we saw signs of that last week when the offense failed to find rhythm in the run game. Now, one thing to remember, the Cowboys hate making in-season firings. Especially when the defensive coordinator is someone the front office personally chose. And that's exactly the case here with Matt Eberflus. Jerry Jones recently gave a quote that, honestly, feels like the closest we'll ever get to an admission of how that hiring really happened. He said, "That's who I want in the foxhole with me. I still feel as strongly as I did the day I brought him in. What we're dealing with aren't one or two major problems, it's a lot of little things we can't quite get right." That statement says a lot. It's pretty clear that Eberflus wasn't purely a coaching staff decision, he was a front office hire. When Brian Schottenheimer was brought in as head coach, Eberflus was already lined up as the defensive coordinator. There was no real search, no list of candidates. The decision was made from the top, and Schottenheimer simply went along with it to secure the job. And this isn't the first time the Cowboys front office has done something like this. They've hand-picked coordinators before, with Kellen Moore, Mike Zimmer, even Mike McCarthy. It's a long-standing pattern of front office interference, and it continues to shape how this team operates today. The frustrating part? The Cowboys rarely admit when they've made a mistake. They'll defend their decisions until there's no other choice left. And that stubbornness, more than anything, might be holding this team back from real growth. For years, one thing about Jerry Jones has remained consistent: his ability to take the credit when things go right and dodge the blame when they don't. Every time he steps in front of a microphone, the message feels the same: I made the right decisions. Whether it's the defensive struggles, coaching hires, or roster construction, somehow the responsibility always falls on the players or coaches, never on Jerry himself. But let's be real, he's the general manager. The roster? That's on him. The coordinators? Also on him. Every big decision that shapes this franchise runs through Jerry Jones. And yet, when the Cowboys fall short, he always finds a way to spin the story around. From his recent comments about the great pass rush, to his full-throated support of Matt Eberflus, it's clear he's protecting the narrative, the idea that the Cowboys are just a few small fixes away, rather than confronting the truth that the team's deeper issues start at the top. Cowboys fans have seen this cycle for years: hope, hype, disappointment, and denial. And until the leadership at the very top starts owning its mistakes instead of covering them up, it's hard to see this franchise truly breaking through. The players fight hard, the fans stay loyal, but accountability? That's still missing in action at the Star. Jerry Jones wears two hats, owner and general manager, and he never shies away from the spotlight. But when you take all the credit, you also deserve the criticism. And honestly, at this point, it's fair for Cowboys fans to be frustrated. Yes, the Jones family has done some things right. The offense has talent, and the roster on paper looks competitive every year. But it's the constant interference, the stubborn decisions, and the unwillingness to adapt that drive fans crazy. Sometimes, it feels like progress stops at the front office door. Now, shifting to some better news, DeMarvion Overshown could be close to returning. Offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer recently said he expects Overshown back within the next week or two, adding that all the medical reports have been positive. That's a huge boost for the Cowboys' defense, which has missed his speed and versatility. Realistically, it doesn't seem likely he'll be activated this week, but week 8 or sometime around the bye could be when the team starts his return window. Overshown's work ethic has never been in question. He's been grinding through rehab and staying locked in mentally. If everything continues to progress smoothly, a Thanksgiving return seems like a real possibility. Maybe even as early as Week 11 against the Raiders. More likely, that Week 9 to 11 stretch is the window to watch. Cowboys fans have been waiting to see Agent Zero back on the field, and if so, what do you think? What week does DeMarvion Overshown make his comeback? Drop your predictions in the comments. Let's see who gets it right. Everyone in Dallas is hoping DeMarvion Overshown comes back healthy, and more importantly, that he looks like the same explosive player we saw before his injury last season. The defense desperately needs that kind of spark. Right now, the Cowboys' linebackers look lost. They're out of position far too often, and the communication just isn't there, especially from Kenneth Murray, who's been struggling to diagnose plays. Overshown's instincts, athleticism, and coverage ability would immediately raise the level of this group. If rookie Shamar James keeps developing, giving him more snaps might not be a bad idea either. At least he's young and learning, there's upside there. But the truth is, everyone looks better mostly because Murray's been that inconsistent. That said, Cowboys fans need to keep expectations realistic. Overshown is coming off a serious knee injury, and while his return is exciting, it's unfair to expect him to single-handedly save the defense right away. Give him time to settle back in. The talent is there, but the recovery process takes patience. On a brighter note, there's more positive injury news out of Dallas. CeeDee Lamb, KaVontae Turpin, and Tyler Biadasz are all trending in the right direction, and there's optimism that at least a couple of them could return this week. Schottenheimer and Jerry Jones both expressed confidence that the team is finally starting to get healthy again. If Lamb does return, it could finally unlock the three-headed offensive attack the Cowboys have been waiting for: Lamb, George Pickens, and Brandon Cooks working together at full strength. Pickens has stepped up big in Lamb's absence, and having both on the field will make life much harder for opposing secondaries. Dallas needs that offensive balance to help take pressure off the defense. And with key players inching closer to full strength, maybe, just maybe, the Cowboys can finally start looking like the complete team fans expected before the season began. If CeeDee Lamb suits up this week, it completely changes how defenses have to play the Cowboys. With him back, opposing corners can't just lock in on one side. It opens up opportunities across the field that weren't there before. Against a team like the Jets, Dallas didn't have that same flexibility, even though they still managed to get the win. Right now, the outlook on Lamb looks optimistic. Reports suggest he's trending toward playing, and that's massive news. KaVontae Turpin is dealing with the same type of foot injury that Darren Bland battled earlier this season, and since Bland returned after just 2 weeks, that's a promising sign. The plan for these key players, including Tyler Biadasz, is to get them back on the practice field in some capacity by Wednesday. Even a limited session would be a good indication they'll suit up on Sunday. But if they're still sidelined by Thursday, it's probably safe to assume they won't be ready yet. The Cowboys could really use Biadasz' return up front. Last week, backups Brock Hoffman and TJ Bay struggled, especially in the run game. Getting Biadasz back would stabilize the offensive line and give this group a better shot at re-establishing balance on offense. If everything breaks right, Lamb, Turpin, and Biadasz all returning, this could be the healthiest version of the Cowboys we've seen in weeks. And that might be exactly what they need heading into the heart of the